What is the problem with the word dating, in your opinion?
I think it's outdated, number one, punny. But I think that it implies a certain game that we've become accustomed to over the years. And like it has its origins, back in sort of courtship. And I think that if you leave anything unexamined, it's not present time. And so I think the word has so much connected to it around this ritual of courtship that hasn't been rewritten for the modern era, that hasn't been caught up with how do we see the world today? How do I feel in the way I want to express interest or intrigue in another human? What does that look like? What does that mean? And to me, it kind of carries with it some of that history, that lineage, that what it inherited over the years. And a lot of that has become a game and a manipulation, not even on purpose. It's just because of its history. So I think the word itself, I always just bring it up to invite that examination of what are we doing here? What does it mean to date now?
Yeah. Well, I just think about the pressure. Even when you say, I think of, you see it on the movies all the time to say, wait, is this a date? Because all of a sudden it's a date. And then it's like, whoa, this is a date. Oh my God, what are we doing here? What is my face doing? What do I do with my hands? We become awkward and uncomfortable. And what I interpret from what you said by dropping dating is that it takes away a lot of that pressure, that if we're just purely here for connection and discovery and possibility, why are we putting so much pressure on ourselves for it to be something else? Or the gamesmanship of dating on both sides, male, female, masculine, feminine, man, woman, whatever you identify as. When you bring a game into something, then there's this instinct to try and win it. And we will do anything to try and win or emerge victorious or have the outcome that we want. And that's what leads to what you said. I think you used the word manipulation, but just an inauthenticity of how we present ourselves, the highlight reel version, right?
Exactly. And if we're presenting, we're not present. And therefore we actually lose what is here, which could be so much richer than the agenda that we're holding for whatever interaction is happening.
Right. I mean, I've heard so many great stories about people who met each other on a date, but didn't end up becoming life partners, but became business associates, or they met their partner through that person that they were on a date with. And I think that only becomes possible if you're open to an infinite number of outcomes, everywhere from I may never see you again to you could be my lifetime partner, but not one end of the spectrum, right? And I think that's what I think about it myself. I was joking with you before. I said I'm kind of a grandpa in this world because I dated the old fashioned way. But back then I remember I was so focused on finding my partner that it put a lot of pressure on my encounters. And I probably would have had a lot more fun just dating and meeting people and getting to know a little more about them and having experiences had I not put so much pressure on who I needed to meet. It worked out for me, but it makes me wonder, makes me look back at what those interactions could have been like.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm curious to hear a little bit more too about your own experience. Like, did you, when you were in that time of, opening to and meeting your partner, did you see it as a performance? Did you see it as a game, or like, were you in just already a naturally relaxed state? Like, what was your experience?
I had the great fortune of meeting my wife, obviously before she was my wife, but meeting her when I was completely detached from any idea of needing to meet my life partner right in that moment. In fact, I had just completed a almost 2-year relationship, really dark, hard relationship with somebody 2 months or 3 months before I met my wife. And so I was on this upward trajectory of being myself. I was riding the authentic wave of Jeddy, and I was just being me. And I said, hey, I am not interested in everything up to that moment. I was 25 years old. Everything up to that moment was I'm looking for my partner. And I finally surrendered that and said, you know what? I'm not going to do that for right now. That's going to come. I'm 25. I need to have some experiences. That's going to happen. And ironically, as soon as I let go of that, I met my wife like 2 months, 3 months later. So I wasn't really and in between those times, I was just so open. I had some really awesome experiences with women that wasn't always dating, because I was just open to whatever that could be. Even like a sisterhood type of thing, like having a sister in my life, or somebody that I went and had some really cool, amazing experiences with, and then no attachment, nothing beyond that.
I think that's such a big piece of it, is that you were in that space already of non-attachment, where you were valuing authenticity over outcome and performing and not performing. So it just leads to much more natural exchange. And then that's what vulnerability is when you allow yourself to be witnessed in that space of imperfection and wholeness, where you don't need it to be something that you actually connect. And then you become truly interested, versus like, oh, I'm holding up all these facets of myself that I like, but like, wait till they see this other stuff. And like, hopefully they don't for a while. Like, that just sucks for everyone. It's not fun.